time with desire. So when I listened to the recording, I didn't understand how, like, I just didn't get how I misunderstood that. But there are other words where I really didn't know the meaning, and then I can look it up afterwards as well, right? So, yeah.
Okay. It's okay.
Um,
Mhm.
I kind of try to find a concept. So, so that is just that happened. So I think this is so like one of the like well, potential customers that reached out to Ghost, like it's about uh, well, what is the like, so this Krankenpfleger Plus, so it's a master in this field, right? So exactly what I try to find for my, like, I think there should be at some point a PhD based on like this back and forth I had with the mental hospitals and so on, right? And so I offered Ghost that if it's for me kind of meaningful work, so I will support that, right? And so I don't know if this will work out, but like I will kind of proofread that work if so for free, because I think this is the issue, that this kind of science is not taken serious by the psychiatric business and psychology included, sadly, because they are this dependent. So that's something I want to change, and so that is kind of, yeah. So and I talked to Ghost as well. So like half an hour yesterday. And then I kind of repeated. I maybe didn't plan that from the beginning, but I kind of went through the chapters of Brüche sind erlaubt, and especially like the initial version was based on like 20 hours recordings, and so I kind of, like with the Quran, I know what is in my book, right? And which part Johanna understood and which parts need more work, right? And so we are, for the most part, through. So like maybe the last chapter, but and like the chapter 10, where it is about this kind of secret level, but otherwise we are for the most part through with that, right? And I so I mean, yesterday I kind of tried again on the Dark Tide forum for the most part, but it also is not, but we use also often wrongly like that. So it worked for kind of finishing the Royal Road story, because there is so new is like this Wasser. So I think this is like this so basically, again, that we don't have to start from nothing. I try to, so like Bach is calling out for the Haydn Highland several times, and I see my role as this preacher of Bach. So I don't know if you checked out like this half-hour explanation on O Mensch, bewein dein Sünde groß, with this organ, also Organist, right?
Which one? You
So, so that
asking
was the
Luther?
one I shared for an example that is kind of something that is above my level, right?
Mhm,
Because like I know this choral, so it's the end of the first part of the Matthäus Passion, and there it's as you would expect choral with text and singers, but I I mean this is exactly the story you would expect, right? So where Jesus like it's decided that he gets crucified in the story, right?
mhm,
Um, or yeah, or that already happened. So in the like two, it's quite long. The Matthäus Passion is more than 2 hours, right? So
mhm,
um, and like this is the text by Luther. So the most famous Luther around here, right, for the Reformed Church. And I don't like. I think Luther was like I don't even know, like end of 16th century, so 1500 something, born, I guess. So like 80 years before, uh, no more, like 100 years before Bach, around that time, right? So, and
mhm,
like this is an example I don't get. So like I don't get it just from listening. Like I don't get that there is this kind of false ending on C minor or so. This is just from what this organist told. So I wouldn't get this. I get that it's about that you're kind of walking on the clouds and it's not all like so it's always this problem that we have to remember there is a part of humanity that is the reason that we kind of so that's what it's about have well in like in evangelical so um the that is a like there it's actually just because of Jesus that the doors to heaven are like open, right? So, but it's to remember that some did their part, and for me, the difference to like a chapter in the Bible or the Quran is that I can test this, right? So there that's why I shared other examples. So like this BWV 999. So this well, it's every lute player, guitar player tries that, right? So like if I wanted to compose something, right? Um, well, I can do that, right? And I will never come up with something like this. And so I can compare that. And then for me, what works as well, but there I invested like no one, even the ones that study cello. So like they might, like if you study cello around here, you will at least 1 year of like 4 years fully invest in the cello suiten by Bach. But
mhm,
like that you think through what is the script behind it. That's kind of like if you study physics, you will not learn anything about the biography of Einstein. So, or
mhm,
the kind of philosophy or the circumstances. You learn the content, right? And
mhm,
so that's like what I try to so that's really where I see my role as a Highland. So like Highland is kind of to heal this void or whatever. So
Mhm.
basically, for us, it's the same word as the Messiah, but it's not like Heiland is more about it's heilen, so like but like I'm kind of preaching to the non-believers. Heiden is not exactly the same as non-believers. It's more like um I don't know, barbars. So like they are just not cultured as well, right? And
Mhm.
so like around here it is the same. So it's for me not understandable why we have like at the gymnasium music lessons, but Bach is not mentioned. Like we
Mhm.
in school we had like at the gymnasium we had at least two maybe even four, sometimes like 4 lessons a week, two lessons a week music. Bach was not mentioned, right? Because it's
Mhm.
so and for me it's similar to what Heinrich Heine did. So Heinrich Heine, they had this project of a third part for the Bible, and this is where I'm coming from. So for my statements, I always like that kind of happened the first time when I was waiting for this kind of result of the like where I had this malign tumor, right, with like 23. So you make a list, and so it's always like that. I think like if I would be the chosen one and would have to give this speech, so this Endzeitrede, so that's a part of the Quran as well, I guess. So that kind of for us it's more the Messiah returns, right, and then give the speech again from the Ölberg. So there is this Ölberg Predigt by Jesus, right? So that's more again that you think like if you had the opportunity for an end time speech, what would be the content, right? So this is the for me the right mindset, and like no one else, Bach and Heinrich Heine, um, like tried that, right? So what are the most important updates? Now I can do the same with Beethoven. Like I can test his skills as a composer, like a coder. And it's the same. I'm just not on that level, right? But when it comes to this message behind it, that is just not what Beethoven was about. So it's not even the worst example, but like Beethoven, for him, it was important that he had the right amount of coffee beans in the coffee and stuff like that, right? And
Mhm.
then, well, another, I think, important example is Vivaldi. Again, not just a biography, but like he did, if you want, the most good with music at the time. And it's a combination of that. It's an absolute genius. And like they were famous at the time. So first it was those, female bastards. So a school they founded and then internat. With those, with this offspring of like that wasn't allowed, but there were a lot of cases. And especially the female offspring at the time was just not worth the same, right? And so he taught them, and all his music is made for like 13-year-old teenagers. Even the quattro stagioni, so like the 4 seasons, that's something you most likely encountered as well, because it's always used in every promotion of like so this virtuose piece. So do you know that one?
No.
Okay, so then, well, it's different to around here. Like every bank, like they always use that. But I mean, it's not the same as it's not the same purpose. So that music is the purpose is that it's kind of encouraging and fun, and even if it's not perfect, it still has like it sounds like so that's a genius behind it, right? And um it's it's not that Vivaldi didn't believe in God, but he is not this kind of preacher, right? So it's more like what he's doing with music. And yeah, but that's where I'm coming from, and I mean exactly that. So either you had the opportunity, like many around here, and just Bach and Heinrich Heine were omitted. So there was no poem mentioned during our lessons, and I don't really know why. Maybe because he was a Jew and like I don't know, censored. So I don't know why. Like it's I was not able. I would not have been able at that age to kind of gauge that how tricky it is to write this poem, because that is not my background. But
Mhm.
so with like 25, 27, I invested more into that as well, right?
Uh,
And it's just like
Ashker
it's just the
Kehrer,
fact I cannot compare it to the Arabic version, but I can compare it to the Greek version, so the original language of the Bible, and there as well. So like the Ilias, Homer, like the Odyssey. It's when it comes to a practical level of wordsmithing, uh, way advanced to what you have in the Bible, right?
Mhm.
And then there is in the like German speaking world, and it took a while. So that's correct. That is Goethe where it started, and it kind of ends on the peak with Heinrich Heine, right? And so if you study this kind of like it's another source of like this tale. So but are you familiar with the tale of Orpheus? So like are you familiar with this much Greek mythology?
Yeah.
So what is Orpheus about?
No, actually, not details. I um, saw some videos from YouTube or some content about a philosophical term, actually, but not details in words.
So like
Um,
I
y-
would say
yeah.
from the mythology roughly. I guess what
Mythology
I
is
use is Hercules, right? Hercules. Like they have other such heroes like Achilles, where the weakness is just the Achilles, so that part of the foot, right? The Achilles sehne, and with Hercules, like there maybe it's not the worst idea to watch like the Disney movie about Hercules or Asterix
Mhm.
Obelix. They have kind of adapted to show Caesar that they are gods. So I guess you didn't encounter that, but like everyone around here knows that. Like those are like this. So and Hercules, the issue is that he's a semi-god, right? He has the strength of a god, but then when he falls in love, this part gets taken away. And it is about that, like that, because like love is this holy or whatever. Well, back then it wasn't probably holy, but like it's this strong that the Schicksalsgöttinnen, so the ones that like cut those lifelines, basically cannot cut this lifeline because it becomes like mithril, and they can no longer cut it when you are in love. So you cannot really fall in the Hades. And it's about that somehow they kind of get this soul as well, and Hercules kind of rescues, right, this soul. So like that. And it's all about that, basically, how they but the Styx is like the river with this, so where the souls get transported to the Hades, and like there is a Charon, that this is the one that is kind of the captain of the ship, right? And you kind of pay a toll to Charon, and then there is like but all souls, so like all average people end up in this Hades, and it's basically nothing. It's just a lake where the souls rest. They are just nothing, right? That's roughly the Greek mythology, right? And Orpheus is so there are the so Schicksalsgöttinnen are the goddesses of fate, and there are the three musas, right? So those are like this is kind of music, I guess poetry, so art, yeah. And Orpheus is that he can rescue his beloved by kind of bewitching. He's this good on the instrument that he is able to bewitch those goddesses, and that's how. So that's another kind of important tale. And like Odysseus is already kind of the same script as you have in Matrix or Lord of the Rings as well. So that kind of he starts as a shepherd and then kind of grows, and it's kind of that. Well, in the like the Ilias is the big battle before they go back, and there it's still that the gods kind of intervene in that battle and so on with like Helena, the beauty, but like Odysseus is like another like human being, right? It's no longer that you just well like it's about that you make godlike what the human does, right? So that's already, and then there is like with Gandalf a mentor, and there is still but do you know the roughly the Odyssey? So like Odysseus, the Greek. So you don't know about all that, right?
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, I mean, this is like without that, it doesn't make sense, because this was all part of the education for someone that went to like Bach went a lot to school, so studied Greek, Latin at the time, right? So that was the like education, like if yeah, and so he knew all that, and it's part of it. So it's all about that he kind of aspires to compose music on a level that Orpheus knows what to play, right? It's one part to learn how to play like this, like Russian girl on the harp or whatever. It's something entirely different to kind of like it has more of a like God of a of a creation aspect composing, right?
Tell me something about Ashken Gevorkian. That video is amazing music. She plays very nicely.
It's the
Um,
same I shared. So this is the Toccata and Fugue, the most famous piece of Bach. And he was aware of that, I guess. So that's why.
that one also a Bach music?
Yes, so that's the same
Okay.
as the one I shared on the organ, and now I shared it again on the 12-string guitar or what that was, right? So it's always the same. It's just a different arrangement. So I didn't share much beside BWV 999 in different versions and this Fuge. But it is completely different instrument, right? The harp and the organ. And Orpheus is normally depicted with like a sitar. So that's kind of a smaller harp. So like a predecessor. So you hold it. You don't. It's not as big as But no, I cannot tell much about her. Like I checked, this YouTube channel has like 10 videos, and the other videos have not like that many clicks. No, I don't know anything, and I'm not like. I can read a bit of Russian, but I would need to translate it, and I didn't bother, so I don't know. I just listened to that as well, right?
Okay. And
But it's the
um,
same piece as is animated by Smolin. So this is a computer scientist, like with those colors that you don't have the scores, but that you see how the 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 Fugen, like so that you see the different maybe this is a form of kind of architecture as well. But it's not that I kind of think I have to accept that not just for you. There are just so maybe like I mean it's still what bothers me the most. So I was in the flat already. So that was in like 2013, right? Um, I was like practicing the cello in my room, right? Quite frequently. It was allowed, but I was technically just allowed to practice like 1 hour a day. But no one cared because especially on the weekends, I kind of didn't practice. I just played, right? And so they actually didn't mind at all, right? And so, um, well, uh, and then kind of the issue was that Kay actually had a harp, so she was had this background. And so the first thing I asked was not something like uh, as I discussed as well, maybe too direct, too strange. All like the first thing I asked is like if we like want to try to play something together, right? And I think um, that was just too much for her. Like I don't like she wasn't even really um, able to read scores properly, I guess. So I had no like I think it was like it was completely overwhelming for her that kind of uh it's as well that like she was this kind of insecure. She didn't uh like tell me that. So she just said nothing. When I proposed that we played Schwan by Saisons because this is not that tricky on the harp. You can basically accompany it with like a third of the chords, and it's still well it's also about this like how it looks, right? So I never saw something, but that is the same in the poem of like die Winterreise by Heinrich Heine. So this girl on the harp, right? So it doesn't really matter that much what she plays. So that's exactly the content of this poem as well. It's still like you fall in love with the girl on the harp, right? So yeah, but yeah. So that didn't work out, and it just shows like um I I mean, this is a fact. Not everyone has kind of this access to it. So it's important, even more so than with the Quran and the Bible, that we preach it. Now, the issue I have with this organ Bach fanatic, right? I shared. He doesn't like for me that kind of works now, but if I would have seen this with like 17 or whatever, so in the shoes of Kay, I would not have watched that. Like I would have never managed to watch it because it's not like I mean he always makes statements like so if you don't get this. That's the best we can offer. This is Bach at its peak, right? And I just don't get it on my own. That is not accessible for a broader audience. And then you have always the issue that like we have this issue, and Bach would hate this, right? That you have this. We have this Bach Foundation, St. Gallen. It's one of the best like performances of the cantatas well worldwide. There is the Netherlands Bach Society, and there might be a couple others, but like that's very costly. But the audience is an elite, and the ones that play even more so, right? And this is not what the goal was of the Bach project. And the Bach project is actually already a brand. So that's several generations, and there are others, right? So the point was to spread the gospel, right? Like no other. And so that's what that's what. So I tried to do three like so kind of this tantra universe, and then about science and about Bach, right? And so this connection between that we find back to kind of well love or believing in God. You need all three together, right? And for me, a big part of science is philosophy and psychology, of course, right? And so that's how the bigger like concept of my book project is as well. So that at some point I can quote, well, this is in the book, and this the at the time 55 plus kind of. I'm not gonna say ever, like it's not about average woman, but like educated woman around here understood, right? And so
Mhm.
I cannot accept much more because my goal is to reach all the so that's exactly the well it's where in my opinion when it comes to this preaching part, the messaging, Bach invested the most. So it's directly part of the Song of Songs. It's this BWV 49, where he kind of like like searching with desire will be the prince, which is for Bach obvious someone that kind of follows Jesus or Jesus returning himself, right? But it's a
Mhm.
soul, so it's not like it could be a woman. That's for Bach obvious as well. So and the
Mhm.
problem is that Taube in German means someone deaf as well, and so it's exactly this problem. So like she might be beautiful but deaf. So, and it's about
Mhm.
that. Well, does it matter? And I mean, the other component is that if it's like someone singing it, it does much more matter how they sing, not how they look, right? And so it has this eternal part. So that's one of like when it comes to this kind of scripting, it's not everywhere that it is this like well a lot about that. I mean, yeah. So but that's kind of all I wanna um I'm going to double down on until so like I'm not I don't have the same like motivation with like Genghis Khan. So I shared
Mhm.
one like Mongolian kind of performer. So he performs this music they had back then. So I don't remember when Genghis Khan like lived. So was that like around? Do you know when Genghis Khan was? Or maybe there were several. I don't know. But like this music is about to instill fear, right, in the non-conquered people. So that's what it is. And I mean, as long as you don't have to take the Mongolians serious and they are not conquering you, I kind of find it well. Well, that was how music was before in Europe as well. It's just it's not the same, right? It's like yeah. So that
Um,
before the
yeah.
Renaissance, music was roughly the same around here, right? And so it has a lot to do, even more than the language. Um, the music you have for a people, right? And that's what Bach aspires, that his music is for everyone and will take over the universe. And it will, because like even there you can check with the Bible. I mean, nowadays, in many regards, Harry Potter is kind of better written than the Bible when it comes to
Mhm.
the tension and like, well, it's like there were probably even more copies sold than of the Bible over there. I don't know, but with Bach you can like you can compare that differently. It's kind of like with the game. So I mean, I'm still impressed by what they did, like with Asheron's Call, or like it's maybe more like the first Super Mario on the Game Boy, or like Tetris. So they used the whatever that was 16-bit space for the music and did what was possible. And nowadays it doesn't get interesting just because you can do a lot with like AI, right? So it's not the ideas didn't get better. And like again, the most uh, the, the most successful idea is what the Greeks came up with. The all like the most well, kind of movies kind of stole that from the Odyssey, right?
Mhm. I when I searched back on YouTube, first some videos come up, and with the title is Bach for relaxations. But most of the people, I think most of the people, including me, if I don't meet you, then maybe I will listen to that with just for relaxation, a good music. But the insight I got from you, that is totally different.
Yes, so that's just not the purpose of this music. Not all of it, but like the most important. So, I mean, like I kind of so my problem with organists I encountered, they might get what they are playing on the organ, but they don't get the cello suiten together with the Violinenpartiten. And those are the most important works by Bach, the cello suiten and the Violinpartiten. And like eben, there I get it. So like there is that's just my kind like but another real impressive thing is that Bach was able to, like, he was not able to play all those instruments, and some of them were not even invented back then, right? But like he was able to imagine all those instruments and compose for like ever the flute, the gambe, the lute, like that's it's unbelievable how good what like ever. Oh, yeah, so that's just yeah. But
I want to discuss a concept that is and do you know according Islam how Jesus died, like we have a difference. Do you know that?
now I didn't understand
uh,
it. I think
okay, 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 I mean, in maybe in a Christian, they think that Jesus is crucified, but in Islam we don't think so. In Islam teaches us that Jesus was not crucified. Allah take him to the heaven with him, and replaced with another guy to crucified, and
but
then broken,
aha. So I don't get this at all. So um like if you um so like I think especially with the Matthäus Passion, it doesn't really matter that much if you have it in German or English.
Mhm,
Um, so like the last, but there are cases where this is important. Bach was German, right? So this,
mhm,
but like it does. So now for the messaging, it doesn't really matter that much, and it's uh, it's just not about that. So the like it's not like we don't know. Um, I think we kind of know because of mostly what in the Jewish like scriptures at the time you have that this carpenter Jesus probably existed. And there are other cases with like there was that they counted like all the cities, no, like all the not like they tried to count what was the Kaiser at the time. So he commanded that everyone has to be counted, right, at the time. So there was a big and like so there are some facts that add up, right? When you come as a when it comes to like a historian, right? And this is not directly from the Bible, but even if Jesus didn't exist, it's to point out that those, like it was, like it's part of the Old Testament with the Pharaoh, right? It's to point out how corrupt this time of the Romans was. So that happened. So that was even a method to kind of keep the moral high. So sometimes they just had to do this decimation. So like they had to kill 1 in 10, and it was just to keep the so that is stuff they have. And there were definitely people crucified that did nothing, right, at the time. And another fact is that Petrus was crucified. So that's why I like sometimes mention Petrus, because Petrus requested to be crucified upside down because he kind of didn't see him on like worthy enough to be crucified in the same way as Jesus. But it's exactly that part as well, that like we know Petrus was crucified, that we have there we have the records, right? And I don't see why the Islam like needs to, like, what does it change? It's not like that I don't get. And I like the Quran doesn't mention that Jesus died on the cross. In the Bible, this word cross is mentioned a lot, right? And then there is the scene where on the cross, Jesus, so like the ones next to him on the cross, like one of them he rescues, kind of, and the other is just a gangster that, that doesn't see reason even in the last moments, right? So I don't see what you gain by kind of like omitting that part. So it is not that, well, because Mohammed kind of left it out, that it well, it doesn't really add to the truth in either. Like he is even like 600 years later. So why should he know that, right? And so that you just take this as a truth, I think is real dangerous. So, but like the story is not about that. Even if Jesus didn't exist, it's more to point out how unfair the situation was 2,000 years ago, and that is a reminder what the first part warns about, or the situation in Egypt with the Pharaoh.
Oh, I want to add another thing is um, in the last time on Earth, when the mess, too much mess will happen on Earth, some. Like Imam Mahdi will come, he will fix some issues, and the final one thing is yeah, Jesus will come, this is Quran mentioned, and to fix something, and it has a lot in the story, and I will tell later on a appropriate time, but Quran also mentioned that he will come
Nice.
before the
So
earth
that's
in the
absolutely not the way we should think. So like there is not like I started with this that I said
Mhm.
like the, the the positive I see in this that it encourages us to think through like what would we give as a speech, right? For like if we were the ones giving that speech. So that's the right mindset. The rest, that's why I mentioned this Antichrist by Soloviev. So that's from the big thinkers I know. So that was roughly the time of Tolstoy. So like 150 years ago, I guess, right? Um, he discusses this, right? How impossible it is, even even if God exists, and even like it's impossible to fulfill what the Bible and the Quran like expect from the like return. That's just bullshit, and that's the problem that you kind of still don't dare to do that. It's like it's a 15-year-old, 100-year-old book. Like, what does it matter? Like, there is a lot that didn't happen. Um, so why do you take this as granted? Right. So my solution was that I just defined the end of times as it was predicted in the Jewish calendar, the year 777. And then this is a famous quote from like the author Dorian Gray. Um, so this English author. So if the end is not good, then it's not the end, right? So if the
Mhm.
end is not yet good enough, then it cannot be the end yet. And so
Mhm.
um, that's kind of this messaging as well. So that's part of, but like that just makes it more complicated, right? So I decided that it's better that like Apocalyptica, those four cellists are the riders on the horses, right? Those apocalyptic riders. And so they arrived even before that, right? But like, so that's where time ended. And it is to take out the sails of all those conspiracy theories. And exactly this, it's about as bad as the Zionists, what you are doing. If you just blindly pick up what is written in a book, right? It will not happen like that just because it is written there. The goal would be that we take that part that could give us the right mindset and apply this, right? So that you think through what is this list of important things. And like another fact is if there would be a dozen that would just do part-time messiahs like I did it since my deal, um, like we could replace the power, the karma of one Jesus, because we have much better, with all the possibilities of social media. Like in theory, this should be the much bigger and quicker revolution. The problem is that no one dares to do that, right? And again, it would be all about that for me. It's not that like you need to ask yourself, like Bach and Heinrich Heine and other big thinkers did, what would Jesus do in my shoes, or the Prophet Muhammad? So like that you apply that to your situations, and then instead of deciding for your like own greed and so on, do that. But most don't have the courage. And the problem is that even the ones that, like my pastoral assistant, that like believes in God, for her, this is just a given. She doesn't want to put in the work what that actually would mean, like even for this venture, what would be the best course of action? Because she's not very good at those kind of decisions, and she don't like even that's philosophy. She doesn't wanna do that, right?
Mhm.
So it's just that doesn't mean that those end time chapters are not important. But this is like the problem we have, and it's really both sides. So like this situation, Iran, the Iranian government just doesn't care for their own people. So
Mhm.
they kind of will win this stalemate, and the problem is that Trump kind of has to keep up the illusion that he does care, um, because this is how the system works, right, in the United States. And
Mhm.
so that's not a good situation, right?
Mhm.
But the worst you can do is what sadly works, that you kind of bring up this mess. You kind of even but that's kind of a strategy, sadly, of them, both sides. So they kind of the Jews as well, or Israel, right? So they even um, make this mess bigger, because they think, according to, like, it's not that different in the Quran. Um, that will be the moment that finally this archangel Gabriel, or whatever, Michael, joins the game and cuts down the opposite faction. So like, that's not how it works, and that's not what it is about. That's the worst. And but there are so many, like, yeah, but I mean, it's such wasted energy.
I have a quick question now for myself. Sometimes I thought that um, that is like Muslim, Christian, or any other religion exists in earth, and a lot of brilliant people trust this. A lot of in every sector, every religion.
No,
Um, um,
there are not a lot of brilliant people that trust this kind of church and religion. Name one example.
like in our society, how we see a successful in many ways, they trust in religion,
No, no, no,
and
no.
they
So
are they.
all the brilliant people I mentioned, Heinrich Heine, Bach, this Sostoyev, or yeah, no, they fought against this. Hans Küng as well. So they
Mm,
actually fought against the church and religion, and exactly this mindset that you don't question everything. So
mm,
that doesn't mean that they were kind of the best. Like, for me, warriors for God, right? So they enlisted for God, but it has nothing to do with the church and religion.
Mhm.
So for like
Uh,
like and it's the same for no no like no. So like one big
that's why sometimes
thinker
I feel.
that
Mhm.
actually name one example. I don't know. No, that's not the case.
Like I mean that. Like in my country, and majority are Muslims. There's the like many people, lots of people are way brilliant than me, and I think
No, I mean that's
I'm
another
very much average.
that's another issue. I don't think that is true. That is just the
Yeah,
misconception.
yeah.
So
That's my
I
point I'm
don't even
explaining.
agree with that, but I would argue that's exactly the problem you have. You don't have this kind of brilliancy as we had, and it was the same. So there was not much going for uh, more than 1,000 years. So the
Mhm,
feudal age to um, it was just yeah, like kind of sad how bad it was, right? And no,
mhm.
that like but then
Like I want to clear my question. Then how when I need to judge religion, like your perspective, then how I how I tell someone this type of perspective when from my position, and how you explain the situation of this type of thinking.
I mean this is this pill, this reality pill. So
Mhm,
that you always question it like scientifically. That you really wanna that's part of following the truth, right? And I actually think the Quran does a much better job. It's more scientific sound than the Bible was. But it's not
mhm,
that much. Like we made so much progress in theory, we just don't apply it. And so you always have to see it through this lens, right? So what did they know at the time? Then you can gauge. Well, it makes sense. So all those things, like when it comes to kosher the Jews at the time, it made sense because if they ate raw fish or whatever, they because of the hygiene they died, right? So that made sense. Now it doesn't. So you would need to apply this lens, right? And like they, yeah. But it's always that, and that is a lot of work to do that all the time. And I don't know. For me, when I was the most suicidal, it was about that I gave up, that I um, just gave up in the sense that I just had to accept that
mhm,
I'm not this of like fighter like Bach. I mean, it was even worse at the times. Like you had still that the Catholic Church and the churches were burning witches and like wars and so on. Like maybe you cannot really stop a war with music. Yeah. So like I
mhm,
mean so there is maybe some examples where they actually kept Jewish like virtuoso on the piano alive.
mhm.
But I mean, this is the question if this is much better than like go yeah. So like that's yeah. So I mean that's but like music is the for me, by far, best invention humanity came up with. And so God, the Holy Ghost, they, so that's one and the same for me as well, right? So that's kind of this aspect of Allah. Understands
Mhm.
every language. Of course, it will use music, right?
Um, in, oh, yeah, I told you that music in Islam, this is a how can I say? Actually, most of the scholars say every kind of music is prohibited.
Yes. So
No.
that we discussed, and I think that it's just that I can understand that, right? So like it's the same as like basically they are just
But
cowards.
everyone, but 99.99% people are listen
Yeah,
music.
and that's always the fact. That's the same in Matrix, right? It's the same with Einstein. That it was 99.97% of humanity that is wrongly coiled, right? So that's
Mhm,
not that is not the truth, and it's this obvious that in this case, they are just not cultured, and it's the same. I have the same issue with the Jews, right? So, um,
mhm,
like especially the Israeli government, like they are not. They forget that some of like Herman and so on, like some of the best uh, artists were Jewish because they
mhm,
believed in more, but they just omit that, and now we have war, and now we have to conquer and so, and that's in the best case you have then something like this Genghis Khan. That's not really music, right? That is but like it is another like a drug. You can kind of misuse music. You can
mhm,
um so I can understand that it is maybe um like again, like it's kind of a weapon and you would need guidance, and uh there are not many examples where I think it is that healthy nowadays. So especially nowadays when it comes to, I mean, I often share this Anastasia Kobekina. She is like 32 or something, so roughly the same age as Kay. So when I use Kay, it is either this former flatmate or this Kobekina or this Casey Chase, right? So they are all roughly the same. They would be all roughly the same age as well, right? Um,
mhm,
and then so definitely in my like um, range for a mate. That would be so. But it's I don't think it's a given that kind of this career as this top uh, cellist will work out for her. So there will be the age where this kind of young, cute princess look will no longer work, right? And so there is then kind of this crisis as well. I think with this background, there is a lot more potential that she will manage, but it's not a given. So there are, especially in like the Asian system of like it's exactly the same as they do with like what is the term? So like Kunstturnen. So like where they just put a lot through those kind of training regimes, and then some of them get the best, and they will win the prizes at Olympia, but like this is not healthy for the soul, not at all, right? And they kind of do the same in music, and so those contests and so on, there are good reasons to kind of prohibit it, but I think again it should be like like it shouldn't be this black and white, right?
Yeah,
But for the most
this
part, I
is
guess
something I trust.
that it is nowadays, because this is not based in the Quran. That I checked. It was one of the reasons I read it. For the most part, the scholars do that is because, like in Russia with the internet crackdown, they argue it's because the drones will have a harder time to find their targets. I don't think that's how it works, but like that's kind of similar. They just don't want this. So like Bach found a way to be free, and Schubert as well, as in music, right?
Uh, um, your your teaching, the main thing is a Bach actually. As a beginner, to understand you with Bach is very much tricky in initial. So, can you give me any books that is will be easy for me, or any movies or anything a little bit get like your philosophical idea I will get from it. Like I like to watch movies very much, and I love to read books. So can you suggest me some movies, something actually I can study easily to catch up your mind better, accept back. Is there any way?
Not really, because a movie is not same language. So the
It is pretty not same actually. I mean some concepts. I will get some concepts from that,
I don't know. So it's not
or
necessary.
any book,
Like
or any
it's
text,
not like
or
it's
any
not that
article.
I'm trying to do the same. That I hope like I'm trying not to always like you kind of quote, this is what the scholars think, this is from the Quran. I don't want to do that. For me, Bach is not this kind, he is when it comes to education at the time, like very well educated. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to preach something because Bach said it, right? But
Mhm.
I try to have my own, uh, I try to figure out my own worldview, my own philosophy, my own truth. And so far, my experience is that Heinrich Heine and Bach, um, I mentioned others, Bertrand Russell, this Blaise Pascal, and so, like, they came up with the same ideas. And Bach, like no other, invested everything in this, that he, so the mission is exactly that you reach the kind of like uneducated that didn't have the opportunity yet. And again, it's kind of to free, that's according to Nietzsche as well, to but it needs a lot of courage. It's exactly the same. Do you know Matrix, the movie?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so it's probably the
For me,
worst decision than this hill there, that you kind of want to wake up from this nightmare, and in a way it was worse in what the Catholic Church did, hopefully worse than what Islam. This is my mother. Will ever manage. So, like, I think I should. Like, it's just that she is today. Like, because I'm like shopping, groceries and so on, right?
Mhm.
Maybe we should continue this another time, right? But
Yeah,
like
I already have
it's kind of
many questions I will
if you
cover
if
that.
you if you if you uh like don't want that, it's just I wanna kind of show that there would be this path, but
Mm,
it's not easy. It's not easy, and
mm,
that's what is in those books as well. So to follow the path of God, of Allah, is tricky,
mm.
right?
And the last small question is without knowing how to play Bach, just listening, how much I can, like, in 100%, how much I can get with just listening from this.
Not much. It's like with other music, but then if you just want to be entertained, um,
Mhm,
then you probably better try Vivaldi or what you like. It's I mean there is a part of it that is basically business, right? So
mhm,
he had to compose like like you had to be financed by a lord and so on. So like every there it's just if you don't get it, you don't enjoy it. It's kind of um, I mean I don't think there is like I don't think there is not it's not that there is no path to God without that. That's not what I think. But this is probably
mhm,
the most direct one,
mhm.
and
Okay.
it's just um, like with science as well. So just the, like there are so.
Can I just play Bach initially, like, there's lots of tools like a guitar, is enough to start? Is there any way that can use guitar?
I mean
I never played any
the
instrument
lute works. I mean
before in
the
my life.
guitar was not invented back then, right? The lute
Mhm,
works are not that easy. So no,
mhm.
the best to start would be with the piano. But it doesn't
Piano.
even need to
Okay.
be a piano. You can like I don't know.
Mhm.
You could even play with like
A software version? A software version?
you could even use the keyboard as a piano, something like that. I guess would be.
Mhm,
But I don't know. You kind of need probably to play around with so. But I have the same issue. So I should switch to another instrument where you can play standing, right? So,
mhm,
I mean, if I was able, uh, like clavichord, something like that, right? But I, I'm not motivated because um, I can imagine that and I can sing it. It doesn't sound like I imagine it, but like I still practice in I visualize still a lot, right? And so that's that's the that's the language I would miss the most. So I mean, I had those issues again because I just want to quickly check with my mom. So like maybe
Okay,
she
okay.
doesn't mind, but I will pause for like a
We'll talk.
minute.
We can talk tomorrow.
Um, like no, well, I would be back, and the next 25 minutes would work, but we can as well continue another day. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I talked to my
that's
mother.
good.
She is preparing something. So for the next 20 minutes, I'm actually not. Yeah. So I just maybe just to finish. So let's kind
Yeah.
of collect the biggest open questions we have, and
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be like. I think to go for those are the most interesting questions, and there is a lot
Mhm.
open uh, in the book project, but like we did our work if we kind of collect them, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and I kind of missed the thread because so what was the last thing? So no, I don't think there is an easy way. Like you need that makes it more interesting. You kind of need everything, and I think it's important to question everything, but then
Mhm.
you like in philosophy you build those truths, right, and you can add to it. And it's not
Mhm.
a healthy way to argue something like Socrates told this, so it must be true, or Islam, the Quran wrote this, so it must be true. It's always that you like, but my like example with Socrates, where I'm not certain, is that like he died with toxic, so plant toxic, so this Giftpech, chalice, right? Because he was this annoying with asking those questions.
Mhm.
So he had to. They they wanted him to kill himself because of that, because he didn't stop asking those annoying questions. And so it is as well that the students like use this as a legacy, and I think it's even that this kind of questioning, this kind of annoying
Mhm.
questioning, is not a good idea if you are dreaming, because if you
Mhm.
ask in a dream, like, hey, this doesn't make sense, then you wake up, right? So then you can destroy the dream. And that's the
Mhm.
difference to the this reality. Here you will not wake up. Um, it's kind of the opposite. If you ask all those questions, you will figure out reality, right?
Mhm.
And so this is
Yeah.
like what they left us, right? So I think therefore I am, or something like that, right? So that's from the Greeks as well, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's just um, and if I do that like with Bach,
Mhm.
yes. So at some point you kind of have like because I'm not as brilliant. So
Mhm.
I at some point when I figured out some truths, right, that work for
Mhm.
me as well. Then I look at other things he said. But first, I need to verify that step by step. And if you bring me an example where Bach is completely off, that would be another. So that would like. But there, unlike with the Bible and religion, the churches around here, I have a very hard time because
Mhm.
Bach often just doesn't. He kind of leaves those questions open when he doesn't have kind of a solution, an opinion on it. And I think this is the right way, that you in uh, like science as well, research would be all about like 95% is that you, or even more, that you kind of try something and it doesn't work. But you have to uh, note that as well, publish that as well, because otherwise others will try and try again, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's and then, like, but this is another issue I have with our culture, and especially the like, why don't we like even this tantra? So from God, one of the most important gifts, and you can observe that in crows and so on, is that we kind of have ever like enjoy an orgasm and so on. And there is a lot of like there is like this is like in the time of my grandmother. Like it's just a fact a woman can have a child without ever having an orgasm, for example, right? So those are just like those are things we know and should know, and maybe yeah. So I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I never have like I don't have this issue, but I think most others do. Like the more I
Mhm.
know about something, it gets less and less scary. But there is danger. So if you have to test those filters like in Kenya for OpenAI, and you are forced to watch all the time, like I don't know, scenes that should be filtered. You get like you get uh, like disorders. So you will no longer want to have sex, for example, because you are this, and that's the big danger of like if you watch movies, if you just read books, it is not um, it is not a given that this is like you might enjoy it. So that's for the most part. If you ask why they are this much like on social media and so on, it's for the most part it's because they think it's entertaining initially, right?
Mhm. Right.
So what do you think are the so like I don't have an easy way to get access. It's like there are but I I mean there are documentaries about Bach, but there is not really a Bach movie. So there is like a Beethoven movie and a Mozart movie, because we know
Or anything. I can understand some concepts, or I can ask you some questions, or you can ask me some questions of what do you understand from that, to lead you to understand you better.
but I don't get like I yesterday it was not directly for you, but I tried that. So I shared some like where I think this is like if Orpheus like if there is an what was that, a god, something like uh, a part of it is about uh, like art, then like don't you want to try to play that yourself? So this That's what it was like for me. So Vivaldi as well. So when I but whatever, I mean, my father played, and so I wanted to do that as well, right?
Mhm.
So I don't know, and especially so, like, but for me that was always, since I remember, I like, ever for me this was just I wanted to do that as well, and so the issue is that when they went to, so they, my aunt with all my cousins there went to one of the, like, but this is, you definitely know the Matterhorn in Switzerland, right?
Can
That's
you repeat
the
again?
Suche mountain you have in every picture, the Matterhorn. So this peak.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
they went there, Zermatt, and they went with the skis from like 2,500 meters to 3,700, and
Mhm.
took some pictures, right? And so it's
Mhm.
something I, especially my brother, but they're the eldest, like, I encouraged them to do that initially, right? Or I was part of it, Christoph as well. But
Mhm.
I can no longer do that. Now, I had a harder time in 2018, 19, when my grandmother was still alive, and so I had the job to kind of look after her, so during Easter, because it was the same situation. They had free, so they went for this cross country. No, it's what is the term? Like free skiing. So like, and yeah, so it's not. I would have preferred to join them, but I can't, and I I kind of accept that now. So there, I think the strategy is just to accept it. What I don't accept is that they do nothing besides that. So it's not that I don't, like, I think once, twice a year, but my cousin does nothing besides that. So she has no time. She's always like, there's a lot of work, and my uncle was the same, right? And so that's this kind of enslavement, and there I'm completely. I know this is the same that Nietzsche is a quote Nietzsche. So like, it's not imaginable that in Roman times you were this enslaved in your thoughts, because there was just not enough daylight, and so you had and you did for the most part work where you still were able to think, and they are no longer
Mhm.
able to do that. So yes, if you hike or go up there with the skis, for the most part, this is something you need to be focused, right? So they don't have time to think. It's the most important that they sometimes take, like, not 40 days in the desert, but like, think through. That's not what happens there, right?
Mhm.
And that's what the real, like that's what Bach art, like, should be about. That you break those chains, that you free, like philosophy itself, free yourself from those indoctrinations. But even the worst is if you have to work, and nowadays around here, it's not that they would need to, like, ever I guess it's probably, when you start, tricky, but like, you could probably reduce to like 60%. But the reality
Mhm.
is they fear that. So as I saw with my godfather, for him, the situation that he no longer has to work, like, he worked like crazy, right? he doesn't know what to do. He is completely lost, and he kind of wants to avoid those situations where he has to reflect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you just take something someone wrote or says for granted, then you will never break free. You will never learn to think critically. And I mean, like I have a hard time with like physics. The difference to math is that you kind of do that with the purpose. Math for me is often like before there were like calculators. There were there were people that were able to calculate all numbers, so like up to 100 to a potency of 20, so the power of 20. So they learned how to calculate something like 93 to the power of 17. That is completely pointless now, right? So there are there is like TV recording of someone who was able to do that. Like, so 36 places, Quinzixtillionen. So like, what is the point nowadays, right? And so that is another like that is another fact. So not everything, like, this is hard work to learn all, like I'm able to or we learn in the school das kleine Einmaleins, so up to 9 times 9, and 10 times 10 is kind of easy again, right? So then there it stops. The others, like that, we still kind of learned by heart. But you can do the same for so like, what is the point if you can just enter it and you don't learn anything about like philosophy or math, but it's a lot of work to acquire that you, yeah. So,
Yeah,
but I mean,
got it.
there, yeah. So like, that's what they lack. They don't like they don't do a plan. So they don't want to question why they are working, for example. So for the most part, the answer is probably because they need money, they want to buy a house, they want to buy a family, but it's this kind of stereotype of answers. So it's like if you so they don't want to think on their own. They just want to kind of by default do that, and for the most part,
Just following what happening around.
yeah. So I mean, like, for the most part, they do it without and it was the same for me, and I was doing terrible. I was much better in shape, but from, like, when it comes to, like, I was not, I didn't have suicidal thoughts up to like 25 because I didn't have pain and so on for the most part. But when it comes to, like, I didn't have a meaning in life at all, right? It was all, and for me it was always like that. So that's the difference, right?
Yeah, yeah. If anyone understand what you said in last, what we are work for, the whole meaning will be changed. But that is too hard to know why we're working and what for, and yeah, and we are most of the including me, most of the time we work for money, family, and many things, but not exactly why Allah created us. The main purpose, we lose it always, actually.
So I think it goes into that direction again, that like for the most part, this is of course what you have to do and like make sense, even if you think it through. But like a proper meaning could be that like in 20 years, they have the luxury that they can think and find like a different form of the Song of Songs. So, and you could like work towards that, but if you but if it like it's easier. So for Czernyszewski, so that's in this, like for me the biggest thinker in this regard, so that you have this vision for like what is to be done is this book, right? Like he was censored and put in a prison because of what he wrote and so on, like in Siberia. And so from that situation, he wrote for future generations, right? And it's kind of like like that's what the situation was, right? But always to hope for a future generation is what for me changed. So this is why I think it was, or it is, we are like, this is the end of times. Because like in theory, we would be able to fix those problems. We would even be able to, that if we would work together, we would be able to fix those issues like climate, energy distribution, food, like it's just we have the knowledge, unlike in the 17th century, right? Yeah, and so well, now I'm tired, so now I lost my.
Yeah. Thanks. We discuss a meaningful.
Yes, so
Um,
no, I need to finish this. So like we shouldn't now leave responsibility to future generations. Yes, still, right? Like hopefully they have a different, better upbringing in 20 years. But around here, when it comes to like even my father already financially, he had everything, right? So like that's why you need uh, like that's why I think it's like we also have to do that for our generation, right? We still have time to change it for our generation. So
right.
it's we have it harder in the sense that like our like my father can just complain how bad his childhood was, right? From like he didn't really have a childhood, I guess, compared to what you expect nowadays. But like we can and should complain much more what they made with their opportunity. So before that, after the Second World War, every family just had to fight for like survival. So that shouldn't be the situation now. But like those baby boomers, Trump, Putin, so they or even kind of after that, that's the world they left for us. We are in, and we have to take them responsible. Like we have to, like, but they have the power. Sadly, it's not the age that should be. Like it's they are way too old, and the problem is that many of those old, powerful, rich, they are not of the generation that is kind of the future. They are the so that's why it's so yeah. But like, but that should change. We should not just like Chernyshevsky write for future generations. We have to do like we should apply that, and the work is no longer to figure those things out. That's what they did for us, and if you are put in a prison and have nothing else to do for 10 years, it's to be expected that you kind of come up with some ideas. And it is a brilliant mind, this author. So why not pick up where he left it, but just postpone everything for future generations? We can no longer do that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's, but it's like it's you kind of don't have to fully wake up like in Matrix, but so did you ever try for
Yeah,
like a couple months to fully question everything? So that's my issue. Like there
yeah.
was not one teacher that actually recommended that. So that you actually try to follow this path for a while. You can still go back to
I did, in my area, not have a much good scholar, but a little person have. But I already in like 2000, 19, actually. That time, some scholars in my area, how can I say, they are they're annoyed by me for my questions. I changed person to person because I need the answer. When I did not find the answer, I went to another person. But most of the people, I saw their eyes that they are annoyed by me. Then finally, somehow, my younger brother wants to do a certain thing, and want my permission, and that time his intention was too good, and in that field I had less knowledge, and I have to give him some answer, because if I give him wrong answer, I will be that will be my responsibility to give him a good answer. That's why I go some more people, and suddenly I get one good person. They are everyone was elder, like my father's age, most of them. But that session, when I entered, when I asked many, that time, some people, as a younger age, they text me silly at first, but the person who is giving lecture, he was so good, and he giving me much answer, that's how actually I got answer from net, actually, because in in real person can give me much answer, how much question I have, actually. And that's how then I rely on net, and I also don't trust net also, because sometimes I feel what I get the result. And actually, I had a question to you for you today, but I decided to go to another day. But I want to ask you now also that how do you always find the right answer, and how do you know that the right answer? Because we search many things from the net, and find the right answer, and which we feel suits, then we choose that. But many times, I when I pick the answer, and many times later I see that that was wrong, and how that was also tricky.
yes. So I tried to like I think it's the same as as it is maybe for many more now when you have an AI assisted Google search. So it was the same in the past. So like if you know like roughly the answer, you can kind of verify it with a Google search, right? But if you don't know it, then it can lead to
Yeah.
terrible results. So yes, you have
Exactly.
always to you have always to verify that. And like for me it was more natural because I didn't have we didn't have internet in the early stages of the gymnasium. So I asked my father, and like in Einsiedeln, he is, when it comes to those scientific questions, biology, like even there he is probably the best. So I had kind of this access as well. And often he has kind of the same answer as Wikipedia. And so that's how you verify that, right, initially.
Yeah, but I had I didn't question too much to my father because of extreme fear. I feared him a lot, and that's why I couldn't make more questions. And if I did that, and he makes me silent. That's how you know, the closest person can give more things and more accurate things, possibly because if my child ask me questions, what I like, I will not make my answer based on that. I will find exactly what's the truth behind that. If I am wrong, then I will learn, but my child needs a proper answer. That's how my intention is. But that's I didn't get. Maybe that's my luck, and somehow I can find what I need. Actually, when exactly, if I expect something too much, if I want something too much, somehow that managed. But sometimes I feel that I need to be more cautious, because is it good or bad for long term?
So the issue with my father is I'm not certain it's that much of an advantage, like altogether. So because like he is not able to debate something, he is kind of very insecure in other fields, right? So he is used that he either has like the same or sometimes better, I give it to him, better answer than Wikipedia. But like if it's something he doesn't know, he kind of makes gives you an answer made up in the same kind of like every that you don't question him, right? And so it's not all like that's very tough to tell at that age.
Yeah, and
And so
nowadays we are
like
taking that.
I had the same issue. Like if it's a question he is not used to answer, but like in music and when it comes to like so this kind of information, you can easily look up there. My father was a solid source of information. So yeah. But
And
in other regards, when it comes to like when you beat him in chess and so on, like he is probably exactly the same as your father. It's just he is used to that he is better than most, and he cannot deal with this competition. He cannot deal. He never developed psychologically to the point that it's not all about like he still that he kind of competes against his brother, his siblings, and so he never got to the point where he actually does something. He kind of owns it, and he likes it. He never practiced like for himself. Since I'm born, he never practiced violin just because he likes to. it always has to be paid, or it has to be that he is like conducting it, or that my mother organized it and that he was asked to play. He stopped practicing. It's not a good mindset at all. So like the most important quote from my grandfather, and there he is different from everyone else, is that like in Swiss German it's man hat doch müssen. So this means like you question like this is what we should have done. And he was always like questioning, so but he did a lot of those things, right? Unlike the other side of the family. And like I remember so their quote is Retour gejasset ist hochgestettert. So if you kind of play the like even reflect the game backwards, this is well this is bad, right? We don't do that. But this is exactly why. So my father as well, when it matters and he doesn't have obvious answer, then he does nothing, and that's often the worst you can do. But my grandfather was different, but he was ahead of like nowadays. Still, most they are very careful if they are not 100% certain. And the problem is that our schooling system and everything kind of rewards that. Like even it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. Like in like a numerus clausus, you even get like even those multiple choice questions where you kind of, it's the worst to learn critical thinking, right?
Right.
But there are, of course, and there I don't have the experience, and that's maybe why I don't talk enough about that. There are very important when it comes to like that we are social beings. Then it's more about that you like we on like the table like our like small, there is never small talk. It's either kind of scientific discussion or nothing, because my father cannot do something in between. And then the other issue I have is with my aunt. Like she is just used to tell you her whole day how that was in elementary school and so on. And I it's not something that I actually find very interesting. And she doesn't get that. So I have absolutely no, like I'm not I'm not interested in like I don't have like a sexual intent there. And so like my mother as well, for the most part, is so boring what they tell you if you just let them talk. And that's another issue that would be part of proper education as well. The problem is, so this is this other book I mentioned often by Esther Villar, so The Manipulated Man. She wrote that book in the 70s, and she got like death threats, especially from like women like my mother. Yes, it's this obvious their game, and everything else. They manipulate, and it's not that men don't want that, but then when they fully control them, then kind of they don't know what to do, right? So they don't really have a purpose further than that. So they get very good at manipulating, kind of picking up a male quickly, but they don't know what to do after. And they are especially overwhelmed that no one tells them what to do. And they can kind of not keep a conversation going. Like if you let them guide, it is this boring. And so yeah, that's that needs practice as well. and we didn't do that. And there is no right or so. It's not about right or wrong. It's about yeah. And like I'm not good at, and I don't think this is what this project is about. So this is more like that. I try to work like in philosophy, so that you provoke this, right? But it is work. So it is not something you can do all the time, right?
Right.
But the problem is this is all I have left, and I can no longer choose, right? So that I like just when it didn't work out in the past with women, I went to the poker tables or something like that, right? And just others probably go in a club and
Yeah.
drink.
Drink.
For me, it was the poker tables, and then I kind of, for the most part, it was that I'm like I was at best average in the physics year, and so like at the poker table I was something special, and so I just and like this is not a good motivation to kind of escape from. You kind of make it even worse. But like if I would have to play against, like if all of the physics students would invest in game theory and play poker, then this wouldn't be a fun game. But the thing is, what I kind of didn't get is that many of them are like not this, like they are motivated for research, for kind of the greater good. And at the poker table, it's just to show who has, well, again, it's a lot about comparing where you are in the ranking as well, right? And it's like the problem is that no psychologist, like there we didn't go because they are themselves this insecure, I guess. So it's not a good sign. Even if you are successful, it shows that something is completely wrong if you need to kind of like for your self-esteem. And the problem is that my father is still exactly like that. But what he did, I would consider more meaningful than poker. So that it's just that nowadays we don't have the same opportunities, right? So it's and there he is really, I guess, exactly about as bad as your father. He just doesn't like. I mean, he's just not in touch with reality. So like just
Yeah, nowadays we talk, but the problem is when I give him some, he gave me idea. I say okay to make a discussion, but when I say something, it goes opposite to him, and I do with politely. I want to make some discussion, but he reacts like I don't know, I nothing, and I'm still child, and this is how we ending the discussion, and we can make a long conversation actually.
yes, so like if I want, I can play this act. So like at the when we played for like Roger Federer and so, I can still if I wanted. I just don't see the point, and like everything else is tricky because he's just used that he kind of has to keep up this illusion of the healthy marriage and the flawless, like with my mother. And for him, this is the most important. And again, like as soon as you have another, like kind of like boss or something, or something hire another god, basically, to keep up this illusion of the perfect family, perfect marriage. It's always that you are enslaved because like it always has to be directly God you talk to, right? And his strategy is just to keep up like calm with in the marriage, and he doesn't like he doesn't think further than that. And so that's yeah, it's what it is. But like things he did in our childhood when it was about like eben those I mentioned that fossil so like I like this kind of competition. So I think that was a healthy competition that I compared my but own collected fossils, not bought, right, with the vitrine of my kind of competition. So the son of the best friend of my mother. So like, so yeah. But of course, it was because his father went fossil searching with him even more than my father. And so this kind of, but this is healthy competition. Then you do something with the purpose and at that age, right? And, but yeah, so I mean, yeah, but there are a lot of like, I don't know. For me, the best time were those games we played in the neighborhood, and they were not complicated. And like there, it was more that the mother of the neighbors just like some of them were, for the most part, they were younger. So she just needed to be certain that it's not dangerous what I play as games with them, right? And so that was important that at some point, like I don't know, like in Scouts, kind of a leader figure. She trusted me, and then, but the games we played were like, well, yeah, so like a form of Völkerball or like just soccer a lot, but for the most part, it was that we went to the river and had like a project there. So it's not like yeah. And then, well, I don't think you have to always talk too much, but it's important that you go outside together and do something as children. It's much better than everything you like find. Back then, it was mostly television, so there were children. Their parents didn't. They had to work, right? And so yes, it's work to look after children playing in the Bach, the river, right? So that like you kind of need to look after them, right? And so that's kind of not something you have the luxury if you have to work. And so they just let as a babysitter the television on, and then you don't learn much. It's just what it is, right?
But I try to do certain things like what he did in his way, like my father. But practically what you told actually. Practically, I do something in my way, and many times he says that my way is good, smarter. That's how he feels good about me. In recent times I saw something, but the acceptance, the long time didn't
Yeah.
allow me in that way. That's feels him in some pressure actually. He has how I can say, he has hard to accept that. Yeah.
So it's
But in a long run, if anyone do better other one need to
So
accept
it's
it. Yeah.
I have to finish. My mom
Okay.
called. So, but like it's my favorite quote from like Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. So Mark Twain, I guess, right? So like eben the father there from Huckleberry Finn. Huckleberry Finn has to go to school, and the father kind of doesn't want his son to learn something that he never was understood, right? And so this dynamics is actually kind of still the problem. So my
Yeah.
father
Yeah.
doesn't want to get taken over. He still, but like up to that point, I think he is a good teacher. But then it kind of gets dangerous, and so he just doesn't really allow others to take over still. So that's yeah.
Yeah.
And it has gotten more and more ridiculous because now it's just obvious that but he had to keep up this image. Well, this is the kind of competition you have in a scientific group as well. So it's just what it is, and yeah, I don't know. It's tricky. It isn't that I think it was all that straightforward for him either, but he doesn't dare to show those kind of vulnerabilities, and this is where you would learn the most, right?
Mhm,
Yeah.
and one thing is to clear about it, that is most of the time I know what he exactly wants from me. If I act exactly like that, and he was happy. The problem is what actually I carry. If I say that, there's the problem. I know what he wants to hear.
Yeah, I would know, but I
Yeah,
have to go.
there's the
I
problem.
really have to go. My mother
Okay,
is
okay,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. We will
Ciao,
talk.
Faruk. All the best. Ciao.
Ciao.